Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the House of Queens podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about living below your means. So oftentimes, young women like ourselves have the mindset of splurging because we have the money. However, we quickly find ourselves in a situation and owing debt that we shouldn't be owing and that it wasn't necessary. And I believe the best way to do that is to put a budget in place. So yes. Ty, tell us about how to put a budget in place.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like first and foremost, like if you don't have a budget, now is the perfect time to start. And typically what I like to do when I'm budgeting is I just pull out a bank statement and I take a look at, or when I first started budgeting, I took a look at my bank statement. Can I speak today? And I saw the money coming in, so like the income coming in, and then I also took a look at my expenses and what was coming out. And after you do that, I just moved all of that information onto a spreadsheet, or you can really put it on like a budgeting application if that's more of your jam. I'm a spreadsheet girly, so that's what I did. I just moved it to a spreadsheet. And there are also budgeting templates that is on Excel. That just works wonders. I think the one I started off with before I created my own was like the family budget template, and I just like did some tweaks to it. But once you move your income, there's like an income tab, and then there's the expense tab. You plug all of your expenses into the spreadsheet, into the cells. And then shortly after that, what I wanted to do is I wanted to figure out how I can like cut back on my expenses because my cash flow just wasn't really there. And I knew I wanted to have additional cash flow even after my expenses. So because I wanted to invest additional money, or at the time, pay off debt, then invest additional money. So what I started to do was I looked at all my expenses and I saw like, okay, I don't need this subscription. I can call my dad and ask him like, can I have your Netflix or your Hulu or your whatever? And I used him for his subscriptions for a very long time. Cut back all of my subscriptions, cut back on like my hair stuff, and decided like, okay, maybe I should just do my hair at home. I used to get my like weave done every week at a salon. And that was like $300 every time.
Every week.
Mm-hmm, because she would like glue that shit down. And it's hard work. It's not easy. So I just did a YouTube tutorial and I started to learn how to do that stuff myself.
Right.
So I don't spend that extra money. $300 a week is a lot
of money.
Right. And I know a lot of girls do it. We spend so much money on like our hair, our makeup, but it's kind of like Dina said, like we have to live below our means. So you start cutting back where you can. And then once you do that, you want to see if you can also include like savings into your budget. I should include that as well. Most people don't like put into their budget like a savings or like a emergency fund. So they tend to forget to put money aside for that. So I plug all of that in, my savings, how much money I want to invest. I plugged all of that into my budget because that's something you have to account for. So yeah, once I did the little reverse engineering, I cut back on my expenses, was able to use the additional cash flow to plug away some debt. And I became debt free in like 4 months. And it was amazing because I was able to pay off like more than the minimum balance. Mm-hmm. And so I was debt free in 4 months. And I think we all need to get there. We all need to figure out a way like how we can like remove any additional debt that we don't need to keep.
Budgeting is definitely the most crucial part in that process. Mm-hmm. And I want to add that I believe it's really important to realize that it does take baby steps, you know, takes baby steps. If you're somebody that eats out a lot, maybe cut that intake to like 2 times a week and eventually you'll get to not eating out at all. You know, same as the hair stuff, same as our makeup. It's just all these baby steps. Eventually you'll get to a point where you realize that none of the stuff that you were spending money on was a necessity.
Yeah, you have to figure out what your wants versus your needs are.
100%. And really be like serious with yourself.
Yeah.
Because I could say I need this, but do I really?
Yeah, I used to tell myself all the time.
Yeah, it's a mental thing.
I need to get my hair done.
I need to get my nails done.
Yeah, I need to get my nails done. Thing. Yeah, and look, my nails, I have one nail missing. It's okay. So put on some press-ons. They're $5 on Amazon. You can get a nice little packet. Whatever you need to do to just like save money for the time being. Because even our nails are like, for me, I pay $100 every time I go get my nails done. Sometimes more. Mm-hmm. Imagine where that $100 could be put elsewhere. You can put that money into like an index fund and like start just getting additional dividends and whatnot. So you have to ask yourself like what's really important.
Yeah, 100%. And tying into that, we're going to talk about scaling your finances, right? So once you do the whole spreadsheet thing and figure out where your money that isn't the money that you're using for bills is going, you want to take that money and you want to put it towards paying off the loans that you might have, right? Student loans, credit cards, mortgages, car loans. There are so many different types of loans that people have in place, right? So you definitely want to take a look at that and figure out how much you can put into each one. Target the high interest rate loans first.
Yep.
And you'll get there. You'll definitely get there. I actually have some statistics.
They're scary, y'all. And I know some of you are going to be triggered because I was
looking at these last night, like eyes wide, could not sleep. Like, what the fuck is going on, right?
Sing it to us, baby.
So Americans owe $986 billion in credit cards, $11.92 trillion on mortgages, $1.5 trillion on vehicle loans, and $1.6 trillion for student loans. Now let's get into breaking up the ages, okay? 18 to 29-year-olds, $69 billion total, right? That's an average of about $12,900 per 18 to 29-year-old. Mm-hmm. 30 to 39-year-olds, $1.17 trillion, which is an average of roughly $26,500, right? 40 to 49-year-olds, $1.13 trillion, $27,838. 50 to 59-year-olds, $98 billion, $23,700 average. Did I already say the 60-year-olds?
No.
Okay, 60 to 69-year-olds, $64 billion, which is an average of $16,600. 70 and older, $36 billion, $9,800 average.
I don't know. Like for me, that kind of like makes my skin crawl because if I was
makes me sick to my stomach.
70, I'm not going to have any debt. Everything is being paid in cash.
Like obviously the older they get, the less they have, but still
$9,800.
Yes, but still.
What?
But still.
Nope.
You're that old and you're not disciplined with your finances?
I don't even think it's like lack of discipline. I think some people are just like, some debt is worth like just keeping a little bit of, you know?
Okay, maybe a mortgage.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like what?
That should be paid off. If you're 70.
Okay, if you're 70, yes.
Yeah.
But I mean like people in the younger age brackets, like a mortgage, maybe a car loan is all you should have. And I think that you should get those
too, though.
I can't relate, but anyways.
Yeah, there's some people who have student loans.
Absolutely. I know so many people that owe so much in student loans, and it's quite scary. But again, target the high interest loans first. Do what you got to do to get that shit paid off because you will live a much more stress-free life, and you will have the money to do other things such as get more cash flow. Yeah, make more money in other ways.
I think too, like a lot of people don't want to do it, especially the girlies, because like. Who wants to work forever, but like get a side gig too, like drive Uber if you have to, or like do DoorDash if you have to like get additional income in the meantime while you're trying to cut back on your debt and increase your income at the same time. I think it's like super important to be uncomfortable for a little while. Mm-hmm. Like cutting back your expenses is uncomfortable. Like that's not easy, especially I feel like especially as a woman because we cater so much to just like our overall appearance. So I think that's going to be uncomfortable, but getting like another job is probably going to be uncomfortable as well, especially if like you're a parent, you're a mom, especially if you're a single mom, you're like, I got to take care of these kids. I already have a job and now I have to get a side job. Like that's a lot for somebody. But again, it's a temporary thing until you can feel like your head is above the water.
Absolutely. So, and it's one thing that I will add is I always hear that it's easier to make more money than to save money. And that's just the world that we're in today. It's just the way it is. Honestly, there are so many little side gigs you could do from the comfort of your own home to make extra money in your pocket. Instead of, if you're not somebody that thinks it's easy to cut back on the expenses, then go out and make more money. Yeah. There are so many different options, but to say that you just can't do any of that altogether is a complete lie.
It's an excuse.
It's an excuse. don't do it.
And also,
don't do
like,
that to yourself.
You just made a point. Like, if you can't cut back on your expenses, make more money. Like, no, you should still try to figure out a way to cut back your expenses, absolutely. In my opinion, because typically when you make more money, you have the urge to spend more money.
Yep. And you should still live below your means. Like, I don't care if you're making 6 figures a year. You should still live below your means because that is ultimately how you get ahead.
Yes. And not only that, like, once you pay off your debt, and once you've cut back, because you cut back on your expenses and you got additional income and now you have more cash flow, start looking into like what you can do with the additional money. Like, okay, you paid off your credit card bills. Great. Now all you have left is maybe like your mortgage or whatever. Now start looking into like what you can do with the extra money.
Wealth building.
That doesn't mean to go and buy more wigs, okay? That's not what it means. That means to start investing. And I think that's like the most exciting part when you get to that level. And you don't need a lot of money to invest.
That's like, a huge misconception that we want to talk about. It's a huge misconception.
It is. Most people think like, okay, I need to have like $20,000, $10,000 to invest. Is it great to have that money to invest? Absolutely. But we all have to start from somewhere. So, and we all have to figure out a way to make our money work for us. So I think it's just starting small is okay, and like being consistent with putting money into whatever investment vehicle you decide. There's like the stock market, there's real estate. I kind of try to dabble into both. I am dabbling into both right now. And like the first step you really want to do is figure out like which vehicle you want to jump into first. It can be completely overwhelming to try to do both at the same time. So if you're like a stock market girly and you really want to like get into learning about the stock market and how you can invest in the money market, take the time, even if it's like 2 hours on a weekend, to learn about that and how and which like path you want to take, because there's so many different avenues with the stock market. There's options, there's just stocks, there are index funds, there are mutual funds. There's so many different vehicles. So figure out like what works best for you based on your risk tolerance, and then learn that and then execute from that. If you want to get into real estate and invest in real estate, again, there are so many avenues for that as well. There's wholesaling, there's fix and flip, there's
buy and hold.
Buy and hold. Yes, there's so many different ways to go about investing. It's just a matter of figuring out what your risk tolerance is, how much you want to start investing, how frequently you want to invest, and then once you have that plan in place, execute from there. And it's exciting. So like, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's something to be excited about and to jump into.
And knowledge is free everywhere. Do your research.
Yep, YouTube
and
University.
Call us.
And call us.
If you're looking to invest, definitely call us.
Specifically real estate. We're not stockbrokers by any means.
We're not forex traders. We're not crypto girlies. No. Houses. If you want to buy houses, let us know.
Yes. Or if you have a good deal, let us know. We're looking in different markets right now. So if you know someone who has a property, let us know. Or we can help you start your first investment.
Or we can help each other.
Yes, partnerships are huge. So that's our tea for budgeting and living below your means. I want to hear from you guys what strategies that you've implemented, if you have started figuring out a way to live below your means, or if you have started investing. We'd love to hear from you. Comment below, and we'll see you at the top.